What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your guys' first time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Basically, this is my weekly show where I talk about the NFL, some of the stuff that's going on within the NFL, whether it be the games themselves or whether it be some NFL news, stuff that's going on in or around the league, so forth and so on. So, like I said, if it's your first time, don't be afraid to hit that like button, or comment, or subscribe, depending on where you're watching, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook, or whether it be a good old fashioned YouTube. Um, so, some of the stuff that we're gonna get into, we always talk about some of the games, the honorable mentions. We all talk about some of the games that actually have playoff implications or whatever it may be. But I'm going to also talk to you guys about one particular. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight. It's not a sponsor, but it's something that I actually indulge in. And if you guys don't know, if you haven't met me personally or haven't seen me in a while, I'm a big cologne guy. So when it comes down to wearing cologne and doing stuff like that, and I have a little bit of a basically lean forward, if you want to call it that, basically saying, hey, okay, this is some of the things that I use when it comes down to how I get my cologne and so forth. So, all right, with no further ado, the place that I was talking about is it's gonna be a Scentbird. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll put it up on the screen. So it's Scentbird, and this is what it looks like. All right, so that's their website, and basically what that is you get the little sample size of cologne, tube of cologne, and you basically just kind of have to know what kind of brand or what kind of cologne that you want. Well, even if you don't know what kind of cologne that you want, you get on there, you get a profile. As you get a profile, you get a couple of your actual scents. Once you get a couple of scents going, you create a queue, and that queue basically you can get each and every fragrance every month. And it's basically like $15. And instead of paying, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for your cologne, you basically pay these $15. It comes to your mailbox. And so even if you forget to order a cologne, you can say, hey, look, I build up my queue, let's say in April, all the way out until December. And so now you have cologne coming for it. And it can be the same type of cologne. It can be the same cologne multiple times. And then that way, hey, you get to smell like $1,000,000, but you don't pay $1,000,000. So everybody will love that. So, all right. So let me bring up my slides so you guys know how we do. All right. So let me move over. All right. Right. All right, and before we get started, basically want to I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. If you're able to see this, uh, give yourself a pat on the back for making it to this far. You made it through the holidays. Unfortunately, we may have lost some people along the way, but you are still here. So take this time out to just make sure, hey, you cherish the moments that you have in this thing called life. Yeah, we may have some teams that may not make the playoffs, or some teams that do make the playoffs and don't win the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, you still have this thing called life, and it is very precious. And just hold on to it as long as you can. So, all right, without further ado, we're gonna get right into the honorable mentions. So the honorable mentions, some of the games, the Bills versus the Falcons. It was nothing crazy to see here. We kind of knew what the Falcons were when it comes down to it. They're not just one play away or one player away. They're a couple of pieces away on offense and defense. I will tell you this though, the coaching change probably means there's a little bit of a culture change there with Arthur Smith from Tennessee. So I will tell you this: the Falcons can't be overlooked like they used to be when they was doing 4-12. So the Falcons really come out and compete. If they can go ahead and get some pieces in the draft and maybe in free agency to pair with Calvin Ridley once he comes back, him and Carter Patterson, they can turn around and do something really special. I would still like for them to get a dedicated running back. Even though Patterson has been shouldering the load, I just don't know if he's going to continue to do that because as he put more and more film out there on him as running the ball, teams are going to get a chance to study up on him more. And I just think it'll be a little bit of an issue moving forward if he continues to do that. Moving to the next game, the Giants and Bears. This game had no implications. Bears came out, did what they needed to do. I just don't know if this team is believing in Joe Judge because this team has fell super hard off of the wagon from the moment this roster was assembled up until now, and I just don't see the dedication or the commitment to the offensive philosophy, the defensive philosophy. Hell, even to the city, I don't even see them with the fight that they should have, especially because they started the season. Yeah, I know the Cowboys were the favorite in the division, but that division was wide open at one point in time in the season. Maybe week 3 or 4 or whatever, you didn't know who was going to definitely win that particular division. So with that being said, I just feel like they missed their opportunity to try and capitalize or either just squeeze down, probably get into the maybe not the definite fourth all the time. They probably could have gotten into the second or maybe third position in the NFC East. So I just don't see how they're going to do that because they have a $72 million receiver in Galladay who has yet to do pretty much anything. I know he hasn't been available, but at the same time, that's still $72 million you got committed that's not helping your team win whatsoever. So with that being said, they got to look at some stuff and say, hey, who do we want to sign? We got some contracts coming up, and they got to turn around and say, hey, look, are we going to continue to ride the Saquon Barkley wave? Because some people are trying to call Saquon Barkley a bust because he's had some injuries. He's been injured basically every year. He had that one good season, I think, his rookie year, but ever since then, it was like, hey, okay, he's been injured. He's been in and out, and we want to kind of crown him as one of the top, probably a top 10 back, but you can't do so if you're not on the field. The best ability, like they say, is availability, and if you're not available, I don't understand how we can continue to put you in the top 10, top 5, top 20, whatever it may be if you don't play the actual game for anybody to basically get an accurate assessment of what kind of running back you are. The next game would be the Dolphins and Titans. The Titans got what they needed. They got their shot in an arm. They got Julio Jones back. Didn't do too much for the game, the outcome itself, because the Dolphins were riding their high wave. They kind of, I wouldn't say they overlooked the Titans, but they were thinking that the Titans were still going to be wounded because the Titans dropped a game or two along the way since they were, they're 8-2. But they wrote the ship. They turned the ship around to go to where they need to be. And they, by doing so, they put themselves in a position. The Titans, certain teams lose in week 18. The Titans can be the number 1 seed in the AFC, believe it or not. So you're looking at the playoff predictor. There's a scenario in there where the Tennessee Titans could end up with the number 1 seed. So it's still possible. Next game was the Patriots versus Jags. The Patriots put up a 50 burger on them. It was to the point to where if you've been watching the Patriots for a while, they got Bill Belichick to smile. Actually on camera, on the sideline during the game, got him to smile. It's crazy. And anybody that's not a Patriots fan knows, hey, Bill is like the king of the one-liners or the one-word answers or whatever it may be. He's just not going to give you a whole lot. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. He just kind of seems like he's always uninterested by some of the stuff that people ask him or whatever it may be. He's just like a man of few words to certain people that's not in the organization itself. So, but the Jaguars is hot dumpster fire. Just being honest, hot dumpster fire. A lot of people are saying Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy are trending to looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars job. If I were them, I would stay the heck away from them. Part of the reason why I would stay the heck away from them, you don't know what this owner Khan is going to be about when it comes down to it. Because I do know he has came and tried to do some stuff that's not cool. For instance, you can't be the goody two shoes with each and everybody when it comes down to you mixing business with pleasure. And what I mean by that there's some articles that circulate. And I can't tell you exactly where they are right now, but there were some articles out there to where players wanted to bring in certain people, and because of what certain people were telling him, he let that particular personal side of it allow him not to go after these particular people to sign them. And especially, hey, look, if I know this person is going to put my team in a situation to where, hey, I can contend to win ball games. Hey, look, that's business. That's the business part of it. And I have to make sure as a businessman, I do the best thing for my team, regardless of what somebody else is saying. And I got it. It may be a good friend of yours. But at the same time, look, friend, foe, whatever it may be, my job is to put my team out there to where they can win these games. I give my coaches the players that they need, and I'm not some kind of hindrance to that development of my players. So, and I just don't know what kind of owner is he going to be moving forward with the new coach and so forth. So next game is the Texans versus the Niners. This is another team. The Houston Texans had a great win last week against the Chargers. This week, come in and take it on the chin from the 49ers, which is fine. It's fine for them because they kind of know where they are. We lost some people. We gave away some stuff in free agency. We let some people walk out the door that shouldn't walk out the door. We brought in a coach. David Culley, bless his heart, he left the Ravens and was instantly on the hot seat in the Houston Texans. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that works. But I will tell you this. I will tell you, he should not be fired for that. He should not be fired for what his team is. You got to let him get a draft or something underneath his belt, or get a chance to really bring in some of the players that he wants. To now we can kind of see at least what kind of philosophy he's trying to implement or whatnot. Because right now, if you fire the guy, it's basically saying, hey, look, we didn't really want a new coach. We just wanted a name. We just wanted somebody there. We wanted to put somebody in the seat for 16 games, and then now we're gonna just fire him. And for me, if I'm a young player on that team, it's like, hey, we don't know what we're doing from the top to the bottom. So of course, I'm not gonna want to play my best football if I don't know who's in charge. If I don't know who's going to be the play caller. If I don't know these things, hey, I'm probably not going to practice like we have a good game plan. We don't have a good game plan. I probably not going to put out my best foot forward. If I don't put my best foot forward, we end up at 2-15, 3-14, so forth and so on. With the Niners is a good win for them. Trey Lance made some great plays. I will tell you, I would be really, really surprised if Jimmy G stays on the roster, just because of all the QB carousel that's about to happen. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, probably Kirk Cousins, probably Derek Carr. A lot of QBs, or if they're not on the move or not scheduled to be on the move, some openings could trigger some guys to say, "Hey, look, I wasn't looking to get traded. However, I think we should need to move in a different direction based off of coaching changes. As the coaches change, or GM get let go. Now you turn around, some of these other quarterbacks are gonna, hey, look, I want my shot in a better situation, and they may trigger a trade. So if that does happen, I could definitely see a Jimmy G uprooting himself from the 49ers and basically saying, hey, look, I did all I need to do here in San Francisco. You guys have a great situation with the young quarterback. Look for me a trade partner. A trade partner could be a Minnesota. It could be a Pittsburgh. It could be a Denver. We have no idea who it could be. But I will make a video. We'll go live doing what we're doing right now, and we'll talk about the quarterback carousel, where I think quarterbacks are going to go. Now, remember, I don't work for any NFL organization, so everything I'm talking to you guys about is based off what I could see. That I wouldn't be surprised if these things happen. So, all right. Moving on to the next game was the Panthers versus the Saints. Panthers is in the same situation that they were in prior to Sam Darnold. They don't have a leader. They thought Cam Newton was going to be the guy. It pains me to say it, but it is what it is. Cam Newton is not that guy. At this point, Cam Newton probably needs to just say, hey, look, I'll take whatever chances you're giving me. If I end up being a backup, cool. I'll stay being a backup. If I end up being a starter, I'm cool with that either. But at the whatever I need to do, just get on the roster, and then whatever you need me to do to stay on the roster to help this team out, I'm willing to do so. I haven't yet to hear him say, "Hey, this year that I don't want to be a backup or I do want to be a starter." I haven't heard him say it, but he has said it in the past that he wants to be a starter, which is fine. But your play has to get better. You have to get the chemistry going. You have to get this offense can't stall out. You can't continue to have games where you have the firepower that you have, and now you turn around, you only get 10 points. You only get 7 points. You only get 8 points. You can't do that. You got to be able to push this offense to the next level, or at least see them let them see the strides that you're making. So now they can continue to build the offense around you in or out the draft within the draft. For the Saints, it was good win for them. They kind of sputtered last week, but this particular win for them help them out. It gives them that confidence that they need. They realize, hey, look, we're injury riddled, but this was a good win for them. But basically saying, hey, look, we didn't just come out and lay down, even though it was a low scoring game. But the Saints came out and did what they needed to do, and it's good for them. It's good for their confidence moving forward. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're one of those Saints fans that was talking about Sean Payton should be out after this, you know what? Just slap yourself, because look, you can't take a team, put 15, 20 players that are starters or either good contributors to their offense and defense, and then tell that coach to give me the same kind of output. You can't expect them to go 14-2 with subpar starters, the guys that don't normally play with the ones or play with the twos even. And then you say, hey, look, go out there and perform. Whether it be COVID, whether it be injuries, whatever it may be, you cannot expect that to continue to go on. Hey, coaches have limitations as well. They can't strap up and put a helmet on themselves to go out and execute their game plans. They rely heavily on those players. Some of those particular players have done it for 8 to 10 weeks. Some have done it for 8 to 10 years. Now you turn around and you bring me in. Hey, I just met coach 2 weeks ago, but now he's telling me to implement his defensive plan to take away a number one receiver or a number one running back or whatever. And now I have to go out there and do it. And oh yeah, by the way, remember, I don't trust this guy, because guess what? I just met him 2 weeks ago. That doesn't usually happen the way it should or way you guys want it to happen as a fan. So you guys just make sure you got to understand what's going on before you say, hey, I want to dump this coach, or I want to dump this quarterback, or whatever it may be. The next game, the Seahawks versus the Lions. This is a crazy game. I don't understand the score with this. I didn't even look too much into it, but 29-51. I was still thinking to myself, like, how? What happened? I do not know who scored what, but whatever. I will tell you this. This kind of is the icing on the cake for, one of them is definitely leaving, Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson. This is probably an indicator that both of them are going to be leaving, because you got to understand, once Wilson is out there saying, hey, I want to waive my no trade clause, now we're talking about, hey, we have all suitors putting their name in the hat. We're calling about Russell Wilson. If they haven't already started to happen, the little dinner talks, hey, table talks within the owners. Hey man, what you give me for Russell Wilson? Or it may not even call him by his name. What you give me for 8 or 3 or whatever the code word they have. Because we always talk about tampering and whatever it may be, but at the same time, these talks are coming to fruition, and they're not just talks now. They're going to be discussions once he waives his no trade clause, and then we'll see who puts their name in the hat. I got a good idea where I think he's going to be going, but at the end of the day, like I said, it depends on what domino falls first. So be on the lookout for that. But for the Seahawks, they have to rebuild everything: offense, defense, shoot, even special teams. They got to get a run game going. They got to do it all. If not, it's just not going to work out. Even for the new guy, the new coach, and probably the new quarterback as well. The Lions, I like what the Lions are doing. The Lions are showing promise. So I will tell you, Campbell has brought himself a few more years. If he was to turn around and get this team to, let's say, a 500 season, probably next year or the year after, I will tell you right now, he'll probably get another extension and he'll probably stay in Detroit long term. Because if nothing else, Detroit has attitude right now. What I mean by attitude, hey, look, we're not just gonna come here and let you get a 88 to 12 win on us. You got to really come here and play to beat us. We're not gonna just let you do what you've been doing in the past and years past with us. And partly they're doing it with not the biggest name superstars. These guys just playing off straight effort, and we just want to win. That's it. And if nothing else, as a coach, you can't help but be prideful for that team because that particular team is, yeah, they may not be executing to a high your high expectations, but they may come out there and show you that effort to where, hey, we chasing down passes, we trying to knock the ball away, we trying to run the ball, we trying to go out and catch 50 passes that you're asking us to catch and so forth, and they're doing it now. Just keep building. I would love for them to keep building. Don't start trading your players away. Keep building because it was a couple of years ago, a few years ago, maybe even 2 decades, where they had a decent defense and their offense was starting to get better when they got Megatron, and then they turn around that next year. They traded all, or they let rid of all. They let go of all their defensive guys, or either traded them away. And now they had this offense that was just straight Megatron. That's all it was. It was Megatron and Stafford, and that was it. And then they didn't have the defense to kind of hold up. So it was basically just like, all right, we can score a lot of points, but we can't stop you. So we're gonna lose the game by 6 points, or we're gonna lose the game by 5 points or 4 points because you get the ball last and we couldn't stop you. So moving to the next game, the Vikings and Packers. Uh, Vikings and Packers is nothing to really talk about. This is an extension of Aaron Rodgers. Basically, when he told Chicago, "Hey, I own you." This is basically that extension. Aaron Rodgers continues to own the NFC North. Um, the Vikings lose some stuff. They lost some stuff. They lost Kirk Cousins. I want to say I think it was COVID. They lost him. Not having him, I got it. He does not will them to many wins or whatever it may be for Kirk Cousins, but he's still their starting quarterback. He's still the distributor of the football. If you take him out, it's just like I was telling you earlier, you got a guy that's been doing it for 6, 7 years, 8 years, whatever, and now you take him and put in a backup. Hey, I've had no reps with the ones. I've had little to play in time as a starter. So now I turn around and I implement this, put this quarterback in. The game plan is different now for me. And the defense for the Packers, we don't really have to do much because guess what? That guy's new. That guy's new. He doesn't have the experiences that Kirk has. We can say what we want about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, he's not going to just lay down in most games. He's going to turn around and try and beat you if he can. It was a fun fact that was going on before this year. Kirk Cousins had never lost to Baltimore. The time we beat Minnesota, it was always another quarterback at the helm. So that was a fun fact, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's pretty interesting. But he actually we got it done this year. So, but that's not a fun fact no more. But it's just basically saying, hey, whoa, wait a minute. Out of all the battles we've had in and out with Minnesota, we've never beat Kirk Cousins' led team. Nope, have not, and that's crazy. So, all right. Next game was to be the Broncos and the Chargers. We kind of knew, well, I kind of knew once they got everybody back, I just knew the Chargers are going to be all right. It was not a panic moment for me. They still control their destiny. They have to win the games, obviously. They win the games. I have to look and see who has the tiebreaker between them and the Colts. I want to say the Colts have the tiebreaker. But if both of them win, I think they would look at maybe the Raiders. It will be no, I'm sorry, not the Raiders. It may be no, the Raiders is in the same situation because the Raiders play the Colts. Raiders play the Colts, and the Chargers play. I have to see who the Chargers play. But anyway, go. They control their own destiny as well as the Indianapolis Colts. If the Indianapolis Colts wins against the Jaguars, yeah, matter of fact, that's who the Colts play, the Jaguars, and the Chargers play the Raiders. So, all right. So those are the honorable mentions. And basically, we're gonna move into the next the games we want to really talk about a little bit more. All right. So if you haven't already, be sure to make sure you smash the like button. If you got any kind of comments or anything, feel free to comment. I'll try to get to your questions if you have any. So let's see. All right, Saints defense, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Demario Davis, look, you know, saying, hey, the Saints defense will get them in the playoffs. I'm with you. They still need a little bit of help, but hey, look, this is not a far fetched statement. They're basically saying the Saints wouldn't be able to get into the playoffs. So I believe it. All right. The Chargers and the Raiders tie. Both go to the playoffs. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. So. Uh, all right, and I guess he was talking about Sean Payton. So he has him one win away from the playoffs with 57. It's crazy to ask of a coach. I just want y'all to understand, like, even at the high school level, we have a dress roster. So yeah, of course, you can try and just say dress everybody, but you dress everybody. That means, hey, now you're not going to play everybody. So you just have people out there that are basically statues. So if you dress everybody, you got to put everybody in the game plan. Or if you don't put everybody in the game plan, what's the purpose of what's the point of dressing 70 players if you're only going to play 50 of them? So with that being said, it's the same thing on the NFL level. Why would I dress 70 bubbas if only 58 of them really know what the game plan is or whatever? So at that point, it's like, hey, you basically put yourself in a situation to where, hey, you can not so much you can be exposed, but your plan probably won't get executed as highly that you needed to be executed because you basically chancing it with people that you don't normally play. So all right, so a little bit of news that came out with the Washington football team. They're basically going to get their name change, official name change. So on this date, if you're a Washington football team, you're a fan of them. So on February 2nd of this year, these guys are basically going to get a name change. Um, I'm going to probably research a little bit more about this and kind of see if anybody can leak what the name choices are, because there was a big article a few months back basically saying, hey, some of the different ones that they have, it was the Hogs, it was the red tails. It was a lot of different ones that was out there, like the wolves, red wolves. It was a bunch of different ones out there. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what the name would be. I just hope it's something that's going to be traditional, but at the same time, is a good representation of the area. Because when you come out with something like the Cleveland Guardians, like where did we come from with the Cleveland Guardians? I just don't understand it. And I got it as a baseball team, but at the same time, it's like, does that represent? Is there a secret legion of guardians or something in Cleveland that I don't know about? If that's the case, then okay, I got it. I can understand the name change to that. But if not, it's just like there's no relevance of any kind of relevance up in that particular area. So, all right, So first game, this game was really good. And the reason why I said this game was really good is because we knew it was going to be a high scoring type of game. We knew that both offenses are pretty straight. Their defenses are kind of similar. They can kind of wake up on you if they need to wake up on you. But this particular one, defense said, forget it. You know, we're not getting turnovers. We'll get you some. One particular defense said, "I'll get you some sacks." The other defense said, "Nah, we ain't get you no sacks. It is what it is. You just got to go out there and outscore them." And that's kind of how this game went, up until the point to where I just think Kansas City offense sputtered. They just sputtered in the second half. They couldn't continue to do what they were doing. If I remember correctly, it was 28-17 at the half, and Kansas City only got 3 points for the rest of the way. I don't know about you guys, but if I have an offense with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, and whoever else I have with me, and we only get 3 points in a half of football, that's eye-opening for me. That's eye-opening. Here's the reason why I say it's eye-opening for me. Because of the quick strike ability, the multiple threats that you have on the team, I just don't see how it happens. Call it what you want. I will still say this. They need to keep the run game involved more for me. For me. The reason why I say that for me is because once you get up doing what you need to do, you had it to where you can lure people to sleep. Hey, I'm gonna run the game, or I'm gonna run the ball, making you think, hey, we just gonna run it, pound it down your throat. We trying to get out of here with a W. But then, hey, guess what? Lo and behold, there's Tyreek Hill beating you up the field because I gassed you a little bit, got you a little bit tired, and then now we can turn around and take our shots a little bit more. I just don't think that was the plan. I think it was kind of like, hey, we up, everything's clicking, and we can now kind of just hey relax and kind of coast our way into this particular W. And everybody knows Cincinnati is the type of team right now. What they have with the receiving core that they have, they're quick strike too. If you give Joe Burrow time, as you can see in the numbers, you give him time, he is deadly. He could definitely kill you. And this is not a fluke game. If you go back, there's some other games that was like this. I'll tell you one. He lit up my Ravens. He lit my Ravens up. I think the score was 41-17 was the final or something like that. So with that being said, he is the guy that hey, if you give him time with this receiving core, they're going to pick you apart. So I just want you to understand that going forward when you play the Bengals, if you get them down, look, you have to turn around. Once you get them down, you got to turn around and almost change up your game plan a little bit to where, hey, we are now playing keep away with Joe Burrow. Because if you keep giving him opportunities, he's going to take his shots, gunslinger mode, and win, or either gunslinger mode and throw some interceptions and probably lose by 3 or 4 points. And as you guys see, you don't help your defense out when you turn around and you go 3 and out, 2 or 3 times in the third quarter. You can't do that. You can't turn the ball. You didn't turn it over, but you can't turn it over on downs or give the ball back to them and not put some kind of points on the board. And what I mean by points, we're talking about touchdown. Because remember I said they have a quick strike ability within this particular offense. As you looking at it, they are almost just as scary as the Kansas City Chiefs. And the only reason I say almost as scary is because sometimes you don't know what you're going to get with T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd, you know what you're going to get with him. He is a great compliment to Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, you just sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. And then the other one is CJ Uzomah. You don't know what you're going to get with him. But I will tell you, as these guys stay together, if they can keep that together, and now they can afford within the draft to say, look, we're going straight defense. We're going straight defense, build up our defense, and then we're going to go to offensive line. Build up the defense, keep the offensive line going, build them to where they need to be. Because I will tell you, last year, Cincinnati's line was young. It was young. That's why a lot of people thought, hey, they should have went O-line in the draft, which they made the right call. And kudos to them for making the right call to pull Jamar Chase instead of Penny Sewell. Because, look, at the end of the day, they believe, hey, we had what we needed on the offensive line. Us as fans looking at them like, no, you lost your quarterback because of your offensive line. No, you should have went offensive line. But that's neither here nor there. They did what they did. They ended up getting this win. They moved to 10-6. They take the AFC North. Regardless of what people are saying, I don't think anybody picked them based off of the rosters that were constructed preseason wise. I don't think anybody picked them to win the division. I will tell you, if you're a Bengals fan, you should be proud that they won the division. But I will tell you this: now you got to remember when you win a division, you go from hunter to now you become the hunted. So now you're talking about a team like Pittsburgh and Baltimore are looking up towards, hey, okay, look, you took the division from us. Now we got to come back, and when we play you, you're going to get our best shot if you haven't already got it each and every week. So, all right, moving to the next game. Let me check the chat first. Let me make sure. Got any comments? Nope. Okay, cool. All right. So this particular game came down to last second field goal kick by Daniel Carson from Auburn. Look, I really like what the Raiders did in this particular game. And what I mean by I like what they did is you guys see some people started to step up outside of Derek Carr. Derek Carr was trying to wield his team back to a win. It wasn't going the way he wanted it to go. Indianapolis was giving him everything that he could. It was giving him fits. Whether it was, hey, we was dropping the safety, we was rolling the safety to the other side, uh, basically trying to shadow him, Hunter Renfrow. We was basically, hey, look, we're not going to get beat deep because we know if we get beat deep, it's done for. To the point to where they basically, hey, look, Deshaun Jackson, we have forgot about you. The coach was giving them everything they needed when it come down to, hey, keep it low scoring, keep us in the game. I just think the coach needed that same type of help on the other side. Because I don't know about you guys, 140 yards, that's probably not going to get it done uh, from Carson Wentz. Now, 16 to 27, okay, I can live with that. I just don't need you to be really, really conservative with the passes. I think you need to kind of try and push it down the field. As you've seen it, he pushed it down the field, and it was good stuff with T.Y. Hilton. And for me, I just think you got to continue to do what you're doing with JT, which is fine, but you need some other people to step up as well because Carson Wentz is one of them. I will say that. Carson Wentz, you got to get to the 200-yard mark at least. You got to get to the 200-yard mark. If you don't get to the 200-yard mark, you got to have multiple touchdowns. With no turnovers, obviously, with no turnovers, which is good. You didn't have any turnovers. You had JT involved in the game, but you now have to do your part as a quarterback because they're not going to go far in the playoffs with just running Jonathan Taylor. They're not going to do it. The rest of the league is going to catch up with that when it comes down to, hey, okay, yeah, we got it. He's a bruiser type of back, but at the same time, we're not going to allow him just to beat us. Hey, look, yeah, you want to run him 35 times? Cool. So what is he going to be the week after that? You can't run. You're not going to be able to run just a running back, throughout the playoffs and win each and every game. You're just not going to be able to do it. So, but on the other side, back to the other side of the ball for the Raiders. Raiders got what they needed. Zay Jones stepped up, had a big game. Hunter Renfrow. Look, if Hunter Renfrow is not a All Pro or a Pro Bowl receiver each and every year, I would be surprised moving forward. He has been doing this throughout his time at Clemson. Since I've known him as a football player, he has been great. Crisp route runner, probably not the fastest, but he's elusive. He's quick enough to where he can get to where you need to go, and then he understands the transition in and out of his breaks, when to settle. And then when he catches the ball, it's almost like he makes a hand catch, but then he kind of corrals the ball. That's what you want in a receiver because now it's like, hey, I got the ball, it's mine. You can't have it. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna hold on to it. And if you make the wrong mistake, I got enough quickness to get some yak as well. So good thing for them. Hopefully their car stays in Las Vegas. Don't know what the coaching situation is going to end up being. I will tell you this: he is probably one of those guys. Yeah, he's tried to do everything he can for his team, but with the wrong coach coming in or the wrong situation transpiring, I could definitely see him saying, "Hey, look, it is time to rebuild and probably head out somewhere else." I know, some Raider fans probably don't want to hear it, but I will tell you, he's going to probably look and say, hey, okay, look, is there a chance I can go elsewhere and compete for a Super Bowl? If it's an undeniable fact, meaning, hey, I can win the division and probably get a chance to get a higher seed in the playoffs to try and make a run at a Super Bowl, that's something that he'll probably turn over and look at and say, hey, okay, look, this may be something that's worthwhile. Okay. So if he looked at a Pittsburgh, wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he looked at a team like Pittsburgh because guess what? They have defense. They have great receivers or good enough receivers. They have a great running back that's there, Najee Harris. And now they just basically have to build that offensive line. They build that offensive line. Who knows? Could say, hey, you know what? This is an opportunity I can't pass up to be coached by Mike Tomlin. And then, oh yeah, by the way, legacy that Ben has left in Pittsburgh, shoot, yeah, who wouldn't want to be a part of that kind of tradition? So he may say, hey, look, I'm gonna jump ship and go to Pittsburgh. That's something that could be looked at. So, all right, moving next. All right, so the first game, this is the first head scratcher for the evening for me. Reason why it's a head scratcher game for me is not because of the score of it. It's because if you look at it, it was the Jets was winning this game. The Jets was winning this game. Brady them needed 17 points, and I want to say in the third or fourth quarter, I think he needed 17 points to come back and win this game. They were losing. They were losing. I want to say it was 24-10. I want to say before the whole Antonio Brown situation happened in the third quarter, I think. And they turned around. They rallied. They rallied to come from all the way back and beat this team, the Jets. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I told you, the Jets are another one of those teams that, hey, look, we're not just going to lay down. They're taking on the identity of what Robert Salah wants them to take on. Hey, look, you're going to earn everything with us. You're going to earn everything. We're not going to just give it to you. And they're also starting to realize what else they have. Braxton Berrios from Miami was always this type of player. Kick return specialist, wide receiver, can run it, can do it all. You just got to give him the opportunity to be able to do that. Do I think Zach Wilson is going to be the guy going forward? Who knows? I have no idea. I will tell you, he has to calm the heck down in the pocket. I got it. I understand. He's running for his life half of the time. He's worried about throwing picks and so forth. He's trying to calm down, and that's fine. Throw him into the fire. But at the same time, when you get out there, you got to slow down to where you're able to progress smoothly into your throwing lanes. Because if not, every throw is going to be basically off platform. You're not going to be able to set your feet to deliver the ball down the field, and that's where you start to throw interception, errant throws. You start to throw stuff into the dirt because you're not set, because you're worried about where's the next big hit going to come from, what kind of coverage do I have, so forth and so on. And I just think that's going to be something that he's going to have to work on in the offseason. Because just unfortunately, you're not going to be able to grow that up, grow through that against a team like a Tampa Bay. Especially, if they're 100% healthy, they're not going to let you just go through your progression all the time. 1 to 4 or 1 to 3, they're just not going to let you get all your reads off. Just not Tampa Bay. They're going to move you in the pocket or some of that nature. They're going to do one or the other. They're going to either just bull rush you all right, or either they're going to basically put some people in the zones where you're trying to throw. They're just not going to just let you sit back there and pick them apart. But moving to the other side for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think the run game kind of let them down. Run game let them down, and the reason why they were struggling in this game was because of that. The turnover, they can overcome the turnover, the interception. Brady was sacked one time. I just think, you ran the ball 18 times and getting 57 yards is not good. You can't expect anything from Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, I think, was not even 10 days on the roster. So we just didn't expect much from him. I will tell you, you're lucky you have the people on the roster that you have, the Rob Gronkowski's, the Mike Evans. If you didn't have those guys, who knows what would happen with this game? You probably would have been blown out by the New York Jets, and that would have sucked, because now we're talking a damper on Brady's MVP run in the season. Because at the end of the day, we can say, hey, he was the front runner for the MVP, but you lose a game to the Jets blown out, by the way, no way, no how. I would love for anybody to come up with an argument for that, because even with Brady playing the way he played, it still was a 4-point game. They won by 4 points, which was about the last. They needed the last game-winning drive to go and best the Jets. That's what they needed. That's crazy to think about, because outside looking into this game, most people would have been like, there's no way it's a 4-point game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Jets. There's no way. With Tom Brady still playing, with Gronkowski still playing, with Mike Evans still out there, there's no way this is a one score game with everybody. I would say everybody, a good bit of their starters, offensive starters, in the game still. There's no way. No, if you'd ask anybody that, they'd probably be like, I don't believe you. But the difference is once the Jets got the lead, they started to use their run game. Started using run game to help throw off the Bucks. Were they doing anything amazing? No. But what they were doing is, as you guys can see, they were using multiple people to run the ball for them. So it was, hey, you would worry about one particular guy. He has a different type of speed, but then this particular guy comes in and he's fresh and he gasses you for a play. Then you turn around, you get prepared for him, and now the bruiser comes in. Now he's leaning on you. Now that stuff starts to eat you up psychologically to where you figure like, hey man, they keep running this ball. Yeah, it's only for 5 yards, but those 5 yards, 2 times, that's a first down. And that means, hey, guess what? You're on the field twice as long when it comes down to that. Now, what changed for them is once they didn't get that. Once they stopped getting that, now the momentum started to shift because everybody knows you give Tom Brady multiple chances in a quarter, he is going to score. He's eventually going to score. There's not too many times he's going to sit back and just not be able to move the ball up and down the field. So, all right. All right, so before I move to this game, let me check the chat again. You got any kind of comments? So okay, 0-0. Okay. Yep, we talked about this. So yeah, it may be Red Wolves. I would go out on the limb saying yeah, it probably would be a Red Wolves. To be honest with you, I'd probably buy a hat or two if it's the one design that was pushed out. So yeah, I would love it if it was Red Wolves. All right. So speaking of Red Wolves, that was a good transition to move into the Philly and Washington football team game. First and foremost, if you guys seen the video that I posted in the From the Couch Sports group on Facebook, it was a video where some of the siding for the stands, basically in the overpass, when the players are walking in the overpass, that basically fell off. It basically collapsed as some fans were leaning on it as Jalen Hurts was walking into the tunnel. It basically tipped over, basically fell over. And so fans was basically they fell onto the little awning or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully nobody was injured from it, and hopefully people are looking at the stadiums and how they're maintained. Hopefully they can turn around and fix it in a timely manner to with no fan, because the fans could have been seriously injured by that. Luckily, everybody pretty much got up and kind of laughed it off or whatever, and was high fiving Jalen Hurts and so forth. But hey, you don't want to see anybody get injured, especially a fan, because that puts a damper on their in-game experience. Basically, hey, look, I remember when I came here, but then I ended up breaking my neck because I was leaning over, the little balcony or whatnot. And if you are at the stadium, just make sure you're not doing that. I got it. You want to slap high fives and so forth. There's an opportunity to meet and greet in or around the stadiums. You just got to kind of lean forward a little bit more on the foxhole and find out where those meet and greets are going to happen, and then you can kind of slap high fives with people, take pictures and so forth. And just kind of be smart because, like I said, somebody could have been seriously injured in that particular situation, and then. The stadium, yeah, they may pay the medical bills, but they're probably not going to be on the hook for being liable for it, because at the end of the day, they'll probably tell you, they probably got signs all around there, hey, don't lean on the railing or whatever it may be. So, but moving along, Philly got a huge win for them. It's a huge win for them. They were forecasted to win the game, and they came out and did exactly that. Now, I will tell you the one thing I liked what they did is they involved everybody in the run game. They was trying to get everybody going, whether it was Boston Scott, whether it was Jordan Howard, and shoot, even hey, Kenny Gainwell, come in, Gainwell, come get you a carry. Um, the other thing that I liked about it is they was targeting other players instead of just Devontae Smith, or looking for just Devontae Smith. Um, I will tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if they in the draft they won't go receiver again, because I just don't know if Watkins or Jalen Rager are going to be their long term answers. Just don't know it. Greg Ward is a good complementary piece, but I just don't know if he's going to be the 100% answer. I have to look and see. Fulgham, Travis Fulgham, he had him last year. I didn't have to see if he's still on the roster or not. But if they got rid of him, because he had some problems, he had some a high ceiling for him. If he's not on the roster anymore, or if he's injured, that could be the guy that kind of help step in and be a good complement to Devontae Smith, Goddard, and Ward. But if you don't have that, you kind of need to go get that. You kind of go need to get that, because that's going to help spread the field for you. As that spreads the field for you, now you're starting to open up run lanes for Jalen Hurts, who's a good passer as well. So now he can pass it, he can throw it on you. I just hope they continue to build their offensive line. You got to build your offensive line. If you don't build your offensive line, you're basically spelling doom for Jalen Hurts. It's just a matter of time before teams are going to try and tee off on him as much as they want when they know you can't protect them. So, but I like what Philly is doing offensively. It sucks that he didn't get Jalen Hurts didn't get a touchdown this game, but he was methodical with what he needed to do. The 200 yards passing, a good compliment for what they were doing on the ground. They managed the clock like they needed to do. Didn't give a lot of opportunities to Washington football team, which is good for them. Washington, on the other hand, got some good movement, but just couldn't capitalize and get the points that they needed to get. And the turnover, the INT, for me at times, I don't want to say he rushes Taylor Heineke. I don't want to say he rushes, but I don't think he actually goes through all his reads like he needs to turn around, because sometimes you allow people to stay in lanes and you don't look them off. If you don't look them off, they're not going to just move because you want them to move. Because there's some players that are smart enough on defense to see you looking a particular way, and I'm gonna just stay over here. And as soon as I see your hands separate and you start to throw the ball, I'm breaking. But if that's the case, right, you as a quarterback, you have to basically be able to turn your head to another receiver and even maybe separate your hands or whatever if you have the time, right, to get that guy to drive on that particular place. And then lo and behold, you last second, you turn back to where you want to go and then throw it. Now, I know I explained that as is it going to be an ideal situation, but it's not always the ideal situation. So with that being said, you have to look at Washington. Is the offensive line still good, or is it bad? Because they were a middle of the pack type of offensive line last year. I would love for them to continue to build off of that. I'll have to look and see at Cosme, because I know Samuel Cosme from Texas was really highly graded for his position, what he was doing as a rookie. Have to see what the other guys are doing on the offensive line. But if he is that, they need to turn around and continue to build and get more Samuel Cosme's on the team to where they have this great offensive line to where now they can spread the ball around to the receivers a little bit more. And then, oh yeah, by the way, they got to commit to somebody as a running back. Somebody. I don't know what's up with McKissick. I don't know where Gibson is. I guess they was out this game. If they were out this game, hopefully it's not nothing significant. I think it may have just probably been COVID. If it is just COVID, okay, hopefully they can recover and come back healthy next game. Or if they say, hey, we're going to sit them down for the season, cool with that too. Just make sure they're healthy for next season. And then Washington, you cannot be this big of a disappointment next year. If you are, now we're starting to talk. We're starting to question coaches. We're starting to question players. Do we have the right players? We start to question everything if you turn around and have another season like this with this kind of roster. So But either way it go, Philly got a good win. Philly is knocking on the door. I want to say they could be clinching. They could be clinched. I have to look and see the overall NFC standings. We'll have to see. All right. Moving along. All right. So this next game of the Ravens versus the Rams. Look, I'll be surprised as a Ravens fans. I'm going to tell you right now. I was surprised. I was surprised. The reason why I say I was surprised because if you look at this, how the Ravens did. If you're looking at the game, if the Ravens didn't have those turnovers, those 2 turnovers, we're talking about, hey, probably could have been a blowout. Probably could have been a blowout. Uh, there were opportunities there for the Ravens to really extend their lead, and they just couldn't. You know, they got a turnover, got a pick six. You didn't capitalize off the second one. I just think the offense was very vanilla at times when they needed to be aggressive, and it was aggressive at times they didn't need to be aggressive. They didn't have to. You can be methodical. Be methodical with Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray. Be methodical. It's fine. It's not an issue, especially once you get a lead. Once you get a lead, slow it down a little bit. Be methodical. Wait till things come to you. The other thing that I liked about it is the defense came to play. The defense came to play against these Rams because they have heard, Cooper Kupp gonna go for 315 yards on y'all. He's gonna get 20 receptions. He's gonna have 4 touchdowns. He's just gonna go be like a madman on y'all. But the Ravens that told him, hey, look, we're not giving you that deep stuff. You got to go catch it short, and then you're gonna have to run past us, which is a good game plan. The problem with that though is you need to have pressure on the quarterback to do so. We sacked Stafford one time. I'm not saying, hey, the Rams have a crap offensive line, but every last one of them mugs, they probably 40 years old. They're probably 40 years old. So with that being said, look, bro, you're gonna have to prove to me that your ACLs are intact and working like they need to work. Because if not, I'm trying to bend you out of shape to where, hey, guess what? Those ACLs are popping or something. You got to prove to me that you can block me. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it to the point to where Stafford was getting comfortable at times. For the most part, the Ravens controlled the game, need to do what they needed to do. I just think we were not as crisp on offense that we needed to be, especially with the defense stepping up the way they stepped up. Chuck Clark, if I had to give a game ball to anybody, Chuck Clark would get a game ball. The young rookie Brandon Stevens stepped up, really Tavion Young stepped up. Defense, Jimmy Smith, defense, like I said, defense was playing great. We just needed a little bit more from the front four to sack him. We was touching them, we was grabbing a hold of them and so forth. But outside of the strip sack, we needed a little bit more, just a little bit more on him to frustrate him a little bit more, because to the point to where that 4th and 5 when he threw it to Odell Beckham, great catch by the way. He just didn't look like he was rushed at all to get the ball out quick. It was kind of like, all right, ooh, are you playing him to the inside? Great. All right, here you go. Odell, go ahead. I'm going to turn around, just reach back and pluck this. Bleep. Reach back and pluck it. And to the point where I was just like, man, you know what? I can't even be mad at that. And then the next play, you kind of knew, you kind of seen it. The defense just, hey, all right, we lost this one. It's done. It is what it is. We lost it. Can't do nothing about it. To the Ravens fans, again, like I said about Sean Payton, you guys keep doing this each and every doggone week. Hey, we want to fire Roman. We want to fire Harbaugh. We want to fire Wink Mondale. We want to fire everybody. We want to get rid of Lamar Jackson. Why? Why do we continue to do this each and every week? Why? Stop talking about who we need to get rid of, and just we can only roll with what we have punch wise. We can only throw for instance, if you're trying to tell me, hey, you need to throw uppercuts. You need to throw uppercuts to win this match, right? But I've never practiced throwing an uppercut. But you want me to throw an uppercut in the game, in the match, in the boxing match. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You do what you're coached to do. You do what you practice. The same time, right? If I do coach you to throw the uppercut, but then I change out a fighter to another person, is that same fighter going that different fighter going to throw the uppercut the same way I coach you to throw the uppercut? Absolutely not. So with that being said, we need to basically have some kind of contingency to basically saying, okay, look, these are the people that we have. All of them know how to do everything. Until we get to that particular point, we can't say we got to fire Harbaugh, we got to fire Roman, we got to fire Wink Martindale. Yeah, of course, some things may have to change. Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying hey, we have a game plan that's not able to be criticized. You criticize the game plan, absolutely, but have we seen them? Have we seen each and every player be able to execute? And we know 100% that is not some kind of execution flaw. Do the players understand what their roles are within the offense, within the defensive scheme? Do they understand what's supposed to happen? And if they do, we as a fan, how do we know if that is a breakdown in the offense or a breakdown in the game plan or a breakdown in the defense or a breakdown in the game plan for the defense? We don't know that. So it looks like to us on the television screen, such and such got beat across the middle. Such and such got beat on the particular tackle. Now, you missing a tackle? Cool. No harm, no foul. I understand that. But it's not a fireable offense if you miss the tackle. Ray Lewis missed the tackle before. Ed Reed missed the tackle before. Let's be real, man. We gotta push back on some of our expectations with some of these players, especially because some of these players didn't start out as ones in the preseason. They didn't start out as ones. So, and I'm not saying, hey, look, you can't criticize them. Yes, criticize them. But we talking about getting rid of players just to start all over? No, absolutely not. Do y'all not remember not being able to run a route properly? Do y'all prior to Hollywood Brown coming there? And I'm not saying Hollywood Brown is the reason for it, but I'm saying prior to Hollywood Brown coming to the Ravens, we relied off of old vet receivers, Mike Wallace's, the Steve Smiths, the Anquan Bolden. We relied off of them. We relied off of them. Matter of fact, we got another one on our team, Sammy Watkins. So with that being said, have we came that far receiver wise to where now we starting to put out crazy demands to where, hey, guys got to be able to go catch 50-50 balls. So what? They 5'9", 5'10", and the DB is 6'2", 6'3", and is faster than them. So what? You still supposed to catch it? How? Explain. It doesn't work that way. It's not a 50-50 ball if I have multiple disadvantages in the defensive favors. Now, how you combat that is the contingency. Everybody can do a little bit of everything, or either everybody can do everybody have different roles within the offense. So now you have different roles within the offense. For instance, if I take Hollywood Brown, I got it, he's a small guy. But if I take Hollywood Brown and I can put him in the backfield and run the ball with him, now the defense has a plan for that. Yeah, he'll probably get killed, probably get creamed, but that's a look. That's a different look. If I take Mark Andrews, put him in the backfield, and say, hey, look, Mark Andrews, I need you to throw a little bit. Here's the reason why. It's a new wrinkle. I turn around and give him a screen pass, and now he throws it. Whoa, wait a minute. The Ravens getting creative? What the hell? We ain't used to this. But until you have that type of contingency, the offense is going to look vanilla at times. So, and that's what it is. Same thing with defense. If I stand a guy up on the end, defensive end, all the time, they're going to know, okay, shoot, dude stands up on the end. But now if I turn around and put the guy in the middle of the field and say, hey, look, you go play linebacker for us. Whoa, wait a minute. He's back there playing linebacker too? Cool. Wait a minute. We got to look for this. And then now that's something else they got to try and study on defense, on defense for us. The same thing with putting players on the same side and so forth. If I were to put, I know he didn't play this game, but if I put Owe and Bowser on the same side, that could indicate something for offensive wise for the Rams. So now I could check out a certain play that probably would have still hit for me, but because now they gave me that look that I'm not used to seeing, now I may have to check out of it because I'm worried about taking a big loss or giving a turnover or whatever it may be. But that's neither here nor there. Like I was saying on our show from the couch, the Rams are quietly just continue to win. 12-4. Still have a real opportunity to be. Or can they be the number one? Well, if the Packers lose, well, they may have the head to head. I got to look. I have to look and see. But the Rams continue to do what they needed to do, and that was his win. The playoffs for the NFC is probably going to be better than the playoffs for the AFC. And part of the reason for that is because they have multiple 10-win teams that are gonna end up playing each other. And with the AFC, if some people dropped some games in this last week, you're talking about a 9-8 team getting into the playoffs. I just don't know if you're going to see that on the NFC side. So, all right, and moving along. All right, so this particular game, I didn't want to talk about this one because the Chargers got what they needed to get back with Austin Eckler. He came back. Mike Williams got cleared to play, and they just went and did what they needed to do for their particular team. The other thing is Bridgewater didn't play this game. I think he was knocked out. Drew Lock look. He's shown. Hey, look, he's just not the guy. He's just not the guy. It is what it is. I had high hopes for the guy coming out of I want to say Missouri. Came out of Missouri. Missouri at the time had a really high profile offense, passing offense. I just thought this would be an ideal situation for him, especially once they got his tight end or the tight end from Missouri, Albert O. I was like, you know what, man, he coming from that system too. Oh yeah, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be straight. And it just didn't. It just never panned out. Never panned out. They gave him a good running game with Devontae Williams, Melvin Gordon. Just not there. It's uneventful football. It's just for me. He's waiting for things to develop. Certain things are not there. He lacks the confidence within the receivers, and to me, you cannot show both of those. The second guessing of yourself, and then the lack of confidence in your receivers. You can't do that. And what I mean by that, if a receiver's running down the field and they're supposed to do a corner, I need to be able to throw the ball as soon as they get out of their break. Meaning, hey, I'm gathering to throw and to the point to where, hey, they're out of the break and the ball's there. As soon as they get out of the break, the ball's there. If I'm staring that particular receiver down and now the space for them to break is getting smaller and then I fire it, now we're talking about, hey, incompletion, or maybe the receivers is basically just stopping because they were like, wait a minute, bro, you didn't throw me the ball out of the break because we talked about this in practice or this is where we used to throwing it. So if that's not the case, now I'm getting relaxed as a receiver because now I'm out of my break and I took 3 steps. The ball ain't there yet, so probably not going to me. So I'm going to slow down unless I see the ball. So if I see the ball, then yeah, okay, maybe I can adjust. If not, now we run around. Now I'm running around down the field thinking that, hey, somebody else got the ball, looking around for it, and then lo and behold, it's falling to the turf. So I just think the chemistry needs to get there with the quarterback and the receivers. The trust factor needs to be there, and it's just not there as of right now. For the Chargers on the other side, they got back their weapons. Justin Herbert came out, did what he needed to do, which was not too much to beat this Denver team. The Denver team knew, they knew, control Denver's offense and we'll win the game. Let their defense do whatever they do, where they want to try and get sacks, they want to try and get interceptions, they want to try and stop the run, whatever it may be. We okay with either one of them. We just got to make sure we do what we need to do on offense, and that'll put all the pressure on their offense to try and match what we do, and they just couldn't do it. So at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos drop a much-needed game. The Chargers needed it too, but the Broncos dropped a big one, and they're out of the playoffs. Out of the playoff hunt, probably not going to make the playoffs. But the Chargers, they control their own destiny by getting this win. Like I said earlier, it's going to get interesting. I would like to see who has the tiebreaker between them, the Colts, and the Raiders. But as of right now, the Chargers are hanging on to a playoff spot or potential playoff spot. So, all right. So before I move to this game, let me check the chat again. No chat. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what's wrong with the Cowboy fans. Look, I don't hate the Cowboys. I don't know why people think I hate the Cowboys. I just think the Cowboys' expectation each and every year is a Super Bowl, and they mostly don't make the playoffs. So this particular year, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. The thing about it is, what are they going to do once they get in the playoffs? That's the thing about it. For me, having this type of outing is eye opening. Is eye opening for me. Reason why it's eye opening for me is because you have this type of offense, and Dak Prescott is ending up being your number one rusher. It's crazy. Can't happen. Passing, I don't have no issues with his passing. You know, some people say he had a horrible game. Some people say he forced some stuff, and I got it. Quarterbacks are going to make throws. They're going to throw. They're going to throw one in the dirt. They're going to certain things are going to slip out of their hand. You know, they're going to throw an interception, one or two interceptions. They're going to fumble a ball. They're going to fumble a snap or whatever. You can't expect a quarterback to handle the ball 50 plus times throwing, and then 20 plus times handoffs, and not have one or two hiccups, whether it be a timing issue or whatever it may be. You can't expect that. But I will tell you, if you do have that, right, you need to be able to have something to offset that, offset what that quarterback, if he has any kind of transgression or whatever. So by your running back not being involved, especially in this big of a game, it's a huge game. And we got, by the way, it's an NFC team, right? We talking about, hey, this particular team trying to get the number one seed. We got a chance to get the number one seed. We get a number one seed. That means playoffs for us throughout the playoffs. That's home games throughout the playoffs for us, number one seed. But by the way, we didn't come out and do what we need to do. We basically crapped the bed. But this is what people were saying. They beat up on all the below 500 teams. They smashed all those guys. And then you want to have a parade because, hey, you lost by 2 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was the Super Bowl champs. But then you turn around, you lose by 3 points to these guys. They're not Super Bowl champs. They're not NFC champions. In fact, they didn't even make the playoffs last year, the Cardinals. So I just want to know, what's the message, the feel-good message behind this, losing this particular type of game. I just want to know what's the message, to the point to where you're looking at the offense. You're looking at the offense. You lost Michael Gallup. Now it's going to even be that much tighter to where, hey, we need Amari Cooper. Where the hell are you? We need you to step up. CeeDee Lamb. I know I got it. You've been battling injury too, concussions. Where the hell are you? Dalton Schultz is y'all leading receiver. Dalton Schultz, the leading receiver for the Cowboys, with $200 million offensive weapons on the team. 2 of them. Matter of fact, my bad, 3. Because Dak, Zeke, and Cooper. $100 million guys. But Dalton Schultz is your leading receiver. And Dak Prescott is your leading rusher. So right then there, you kind of know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. And I'm tired of having this discussion. And that's why I can't continue to put you guys anywhere in the top 5, top 10, or whatever, until you guys can show me consistently, hey, this is who we are, and this is what we plan on doing. We plan on being the dominant Dallas Cowboys team that a lot of people are trying to say we are. If not, I just need you to understand, hey, you're a little bit mediocre. You're a little bit above mediocre. Your fan base needs to understand that, and we'll take it. We'll take it being mediocre, because sometimes the mediocre teams get lucky. Sometimes they catch them. They catch some good teams slipping, overlooking them, and they turn around. They win a game. They win a game against a good team, and that's fine. That's 100% fine. It's not an issue. I just don't understand all the eggs in the basket for the Cowboys this particular year. To the other side for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray improved to 8-0 in Texas Stadium. He has 5 wins in his high school career, 1 in college, and then 1 in the pros, where he's won at Texas Stadium. and now he has another one. So for me, Kyler Murray understood this particular game. Hey, take what they give me. Not trying to do too much, but if they let it, if they let me get it out, if they let me get it out there, oh, I'll definitely take a chance to really beat this team if I get a chance to do it. And oh yeah, by the way, they're gonna have to prove to me that they can stop AJ Green and Christian Kirk. I know Ertz is gonna get his due diligence because guess what? That's where the Cowboys' weakness is. If they had a weakness, it would be maybe secondary, maybe at the linebacker level. And what I'm saying by that, I'm talking about coverage. I'm talking about coverage. I'm not talking about their skill because they're probably pretty skillful guys. But they came out and did what they needed to do. And to me, Kyler Murray understood the task at hand and said, "Hey, you know what? Cowboys defense, yeah, you guys wondering about AJ Green, you wondering about Christian Kirk. I'm gonna introduce you to Antoine Wesley. I can almost assure you Antoine Wesley probably hadn't caught 20 balls this season. If he has, I'd be surprised. But I mean, don't get it twisted now. He's a 6'4". I want to say he's 6'4", 200 some odd pounds. But he is deceptive enough to where, hey, you looking at me like, man, he's just old lanky dude, but he ain't really nothing. But guess what? Kyler Murray knew what he was to the point to where, hey, remember I was talking about going through your reads and your progression. And that's one thing Kyler Murray is pretty good at. Getting out the pocket, going through those progressions, and being able to place the ball down the field like he needs. And he was able to do it. He was able to do it. And it was with anybody. It was with any and everybody. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't have no excuses for the Cowboys. They dropped a big game that could have cemented them in the discussion for the number one team in the NFC. But now it's not there because I want to say Green Bay has the head-to-head against the Rams. So, but all right, moving along to the next game. All right, so this is the last game, a game that happened last night. It was Monday Night Football. Big Ben had his little going away party. Everybody was crying and stuff or whatever. But Cleveland, you got a lot. You got a lot of decisions that you got to make. What are you going to do with Baker Mayfield? Are you going to sit him down for the next game? Are you going to let him play the next game? Are you trying to go in a different route next year? You're going to pick up his fifth-year option, whatever it may be. You got a lot of things to talk about. Do you get a receiver? You get another receiver in the draft. Do you pick up one in free agency? Who's that receiver going to be? It's a lot of stuff. Pittsburgh has some things they got to talk about as well. Who's a replacement for Ben? What do you do with Juju Smith-Schuster? Because I think he's on a one-year deal. What are you going to do to help build your defense? Oh, you got to build up your offensive line as well. Your defense is fine right now, but you're going to be missing some. You're going to be missing some stuff. You just got to make sure you don't let the nucleus of your defense go away. You don't want that because, like I said, that Bud Dupree loss still has yet to be filled on that defense. Yeah, you're able to hide it as much as you can when you have the NFL sack leader and he kind of pushes other people into sacks and so forth. But when you're not able to get home, your defense looks very, very, very suspect. And that's the case. Your defense being very suspect. Now we're talking about an offense that's not good. Now you couple that with a subpar defense at times. You're talking about people that just run the scoreboard up on you eventually if you continue to play like that. But I remember some people were telling me Najee Harris was considered a bust. I just want to know, is he still a bust? Just want to know. I'm just trying to figure it out. I just want to know if he's still a bust. And I'm an Auburn guy. And look, but I give people credit. I give players credit. When I see something in a player, I see what they're capable of doing, I give them the hats off. Hats off. Like for the Steelers, another player for the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth, if Pat Freiermuth stays within the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pat Freiermuth is probably going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. Probably going to be a Hall of Fame, barring any kind of injuries. Probably going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. Just because his blocking, his catching ability, and how he prepares to turn around and help this team win. That's all you ask for him. Chubb, on the other hand, on the other side of the team, other side of the ball, with the Cleveland Browns, look, Baker ain't it. Baker's not it. Some people giving him the hate. He's injured right now, but I don't think Baker is it for you, for your team, what you want. The reason why I say that is because, is Baker a good quarterback? Yeah, you can say he's a good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? Nope. I will tell you this, though. The player that you need is a player that's going to go 20 to 25 passes, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, no interceptions. That's what you need. You need to let everything else flow through your run game. Kareem Hunt, whenever he comes back, Nick Chubb, that's what you need. That's who you are. If you're trying to be anything different, then you need to come up off of Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb. You need to come up off of them. And the reason I say you need to come up off of them, because you leave it open to question, what are you doing by keeping both of them there and not utilizing them, not running the entire game plan through them? I got it. If they're injured, too easy. I understand that. But you got to bring in viable options, which you have in the Ernest Johnson, but you got to use them. You got to use them. If you don't use them, once again, me as a fan, I'm second guessing everything you're putting out on the field, because, hey, you turn around, you're letting the quarterback who's proven time and time again he is not the guy. He's injured. He's trying to will his way to a win, and you want him to throw 40 passes against a division rival that has probably the best pass rusher in the game right now. You want him to go throw 40 passes with a beat up offensive line, by the way. That's another thing. Yeah, they got some people back there a little bit more healthy than what they were 2 weeks ago, but they still not 100% healthy. And yeah, I got it. Some people made the Pro Bowl. Big deal. Injuries still happen. Injuries are still there. People are still lingering from injuries. And you turn around, you do that to your quarterback. I don't know many quarterbacks that's gonna survive that particular type of situation. Just don't understand it. So with that being said, you need to basically take some of the pressure off of him by going to what your true identity is and let it be. So, all right, but Pittsburgh get a big win. They're still in playoff contention. They need some help. The Browns have lost their playoff hopes. I don't know where we go from here with the Browns. I do know the Pittsburgh riding high coming into Baltimore, looking to spoil Baltimore's chances to getting into the playoffs as well. Baltimore need a lot of help. So does Pittsburgh. But it all starts with a W from either one of those teams moving to the game next week. All right. So this is the playoff predictor for the AFC. Not going to spend too much time on it. You guys kind of see what happened when it comes down to it. And these are the games that are left and so forth. Just don't see how the Bengals, the Browns are going to muster a win against the Bengals. I just don't see it. Maybe something has changed. Mentality has changed or whatever up until that point. But right now, just don't see it. With the Chargers, I see the Chargers. The Raiders. I see the Chargers winning that game. Chargers win that game. I want to say the Chargers are going to be in, because then that'll move the Raiders to 9-8. But some other stuff has to happen. I think the Ravens have to lose. If the Ravens lose, then that'll definitely push them in, the Chargers, if they beat the Raiders. For the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are pretty much done as well, because they need a lot more help. They controlled their own destiny last week by losing to the Titans. That kind of did them in as well. The Steelers, we talked about that. They needed a win, and then they need a little bit of help. The Broncos, they pretty much done. They're not going to make it. And then so the next slide is basically just going to talk about a little bit of the tiebreakers. There's nothing to write about. You guys can see that. Um, and it's basically just talking about the tiebreakers for the people towards the bottom. So right here. So as you can see, the Ravens need a lot of help. Steelers need some help. Um, the Raiders, they need to win their game against the Chargers, and they could be in. Colts need to win. Obviously, they already in though. So, and that's where it's at right now for the AFC. So we move over to the NFC. All right, so the NFC, it's a little bit more clearer picture. The top three teams are basically out of the running, as you can see. The Saints, they need a win against the Falcons. They can stay in contention. The Eagles, if they drop that game, I'll have to see on the next slide who has a tiebreaker between the Eagles and the Saints and how their positioning is. The Vikings pretty much done themselves in by losing to the Packers. They have no shot. They're outside looking in. And then as of right here, you see it. So right here, the Saints and Eagles, we would have to look and see also right here to their conference. Within the conference, so the Eagles would own the tiebreaker over the Saints if they ended up with the same record. So the Eagles got to lose to Washington, and then the Saints obviously got to beat the Falcons, and then they would be in. The Saints would be in. The Eagles would be out. So that's basically how it is right now as we speak. So it's gonna get real interesting. And then we just basically make sure, hey, you guys are watching what's going on when it comes down to the playoffs and the tiebreakers and so forth. So, all right. With that being said, thank you guys again for all the support you've given me up until this point. And if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. And before we leave, we're gonna basically make sure we give you the power rankings, and I'm gonna go through them real quick because I've been on here for a minute talking to you guys. So, all right, the last week's power rankings, as you guys can see, nothing to write home about. Pretty self-explanatory. And this is this week's power rankings. Once again, self-explanatory. Cowboys losing. Can't keep them there. Can't keep them in the power rankings. Losing a game like that. Because it's basically saying against stiff competition, you kind of fold up and quiver out. You can't do that. For me, you got to basically compete with teams above 500 the same way you compete with teams below 500. And I heard a Cowboys fan said they basically lay down to the competition. They lay down to the competition to kind of fill them out, and then they go from there. For me, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I would turn around and say, look, everybody gets our best shot. Everybody got to get our best shot, no matter what. If not, come to playoff time, you're going to basically be one and done each and every year. So if you don't practice giving everybody their best shot or your best shot, you're going to have those issues. You're going to have those issues moving forward as a team, trying to be a constant playoff contender, and who knows, maybe even contend for a Super Bowl in the next 4 or 5 years. Until you want to play against the good teams, you're probably not going to beat many of them. And until you say, hey, look, we want Green Bay, we want Tampa Bay, we want to play Kansas City and beat them. You're not going to get that opportunity to do that if you don't have that mentality of, hey, we want to go out and beat them. So, all right. So, like I said, thank you guys for all the support you've given me up until this point. And you guys have a great day. And I'll be back next week to give you the Week 18 NFL update. And then in between that time, be on the lookout for my QB carousel. I talk quarterbacks, what's going on with each and every quarterback, where I think they're going to be going, and why I think they're going to be going to where they're going. All right. Till then, thank you guys again. And you've been listening with me. I appreciate you if you stayed until the end. I know it was a long stream. These things are never short, but I got to try and get it all out there to you guys. All right. So thank you again. And you guys have a great and blessed day.